There she is. She comes in clutch. Happy Monday, guys. In the chat, I just dropped a question. We are almost through June. I mean, we're getting to the halfway point, right? So we're like over the mountain and rolling through the end of June. And once we get to the end of June in about 2 weeks here, you guys, we're halfway through 2021. Wild. And so far in 2021, what are you most proud of? What are you celebrating? Drop it in the chat. Too many times we are so self-critical. At the halfway point in the year, you could give me a laundry list today of all the things that you have not yet done in 2021. But for a different perspective, I want you to think of what's one thing you have. What are you so insanely proud of? Because this is when we can pause and we can build momentum on that. And we can start to tell ourselves, you know what, I am moving in the right direction. And if I can move in the right direction over here, then maybe I can move in the right direction over here in this area too. So drop it. I love seeing these. Chelsea, yes, completed 2 programs. Hello. Don't forget to submit those into the Beachbody Challenge too, you guys. Make sure your people are submitting all of their before and afters and winning swag. Consistency with workouts. Yeah, even when life is hard, going back to school, get it, girl, finishing so many projects around the house. Bailey, we need pictures, girlfriend. We got to see all these before and afters. I love a good home reno. 2 programs, Ultimate Reset for the first time. Yes. Helping other coaches build their business. Emerald Retreat that you guys are hosting for the first time. Yes. It's going too fast. I can't keep up. I'll keep reading through these. 30 weeks pregnant before having to stop workouts due to an injury. Get it, Ashley. This is her first time being pregnant. So I love it. How awesome. And I love seeing women take care of their health and move their bodies in ways that feel good for them until they maybe can no longer move their bodies while pregnant. Like what an example of what a powerful example for other women out there on the internet. I love it. You guys, a couple quick announcements before I pass the mic over is tomorrow at 5:15, we're doing a pop-up call for 6:45. We're going to be doing a little launch prep because I've been giving the microphone to other people on Monday nights. I don't really have a chance to be able to train you and teach you and get you hyped up. So that's tomorrow night. So treat tomorrow at 5:15 like a Monday with Britt. Okay, that would be great. I have already printed this out and I shared this on the team page as well as in the Emerald collab. And it's a 3-step launch plan that's in your Coach Online office. We will be walking through this tomorrow. So get on the call, and icing on the cake, if you want like to be an A+ student, print this out in advance. That'd be amazing. Okay, Cookies and Creamy action hour is going to follow right after that. So 5:15, I'm starting it a little earlier than I usually do Tuesday calls, simply because I want to have enough time so we can really do our full action hour kicking off at 6. It's going to be focused on Cookies and Creamy because tomorrow it's a week out. All right. So you want to make sure if there's 2 things you really want to get on a Tuesday, it's those 2. Okay. Also, we're going to be doing a summer flash sale. Now, Beachbody already has a summer strong sale they're doing, but we love to do little flash sales, especially in the summertime, to offer people an additional incentive to join. So they're already getting the $20 off, and you're going to advertise that and hype that. And I'm going to help you on the team page throughout the rest of the week, getting excited to be able to do this. But throughout all of next week, what I'm going to be doing and modeling on my stories is how not only will they get $20 off and they'll get the full pack for the year, right? But I'm also going to throw in gift card incentives. So if you're down to also throw in gift card incentives to help people jumpstart their journey and get into your boot camps and whatnot and finish June strong, then you're going to want in on the flash sale. So make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled for all of that information. I'll be giving you everything you need to make it flow successfully. And it's going to be completely on you and in your own stories and posts next week. Okay. And then last but not least, book club just kicked off on Saturday for our first summer book club, and that is Do It Anyway Girl. And here's the deal. I know I picked a business-based book, and I know some of you got scared away and said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. But you're on this call tonight, right? And there's nothing like when we had this call on Saturday, it was just so refreshing when we got to connect for the first time, because we got to share how we got started. And every one of you on this screen has a getting started story. And we got to share, fears that we had. Each of you have and have had fears. And so it's a refreshing place to get to talk about this business together. And so I encourage you, if you were like, I don't think I'm going to do that book club, it just doesn't look like it's for me. Yes, it is. If you're on this call, it's for you. If you're ready to hear a word tonight from Ashley and to hear how she's making this work as a full-time behavior analyst for kids with special needs, you guys, then you want to be part of this book club too. Because this is going to fire you up to do the thing that you have to do, which is take action. And this book is like a play-by-play of how you take action in network marketing. So that's my battle cry for you guys. And check it out. If you can't make it on Saturdays, Leah has her own separate book club that they do. So you can reach out to her and message her to get in on that if you need that time slot. Okay. I'm going to introduce Ashley. I'm so excited that she agreed to speak on our call tonight. And I'm just so grateful for her time. You guys, she's been a coach for 5 years, 2-time elite. Okay, so success leaves clues. Girlfriend knows what she's doing, meaning elite truly means that you can help other people get started with their business successfully, right? And so she knows, like, if you're like, I just feel like I'm struggling helping my new coaches or struggling getting my new business off the ground running, she knows this. 10-star diamond, SC legend, which means for 24 months consecutively, at least, she's hit Success Club 5 in a row. She ended 2020 as the number 60 team in the network, number 60 coach in the network. What else, guys? You want more? For real. She's busy. That's my favorite part. She's busy. And there's the word and. It's not I'm busy so I can't, or I'm busy but this. It's I'm busy and I have a dream to insert Ashley's dream, because she's going to talk to us about it. She's going to tell us everything, but she's doing both. And I hope tonight that you're inspired that it can be both. It's not, oh, I work full time, so I must not be able to be successful at this. Or, oh, I'm in this season where I'm pregnant right now, so I can't be successful. BS, calling you out. Husband is a police officer. So I'm sure the hours are crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that goes on in their household that is just mentally exhausting, I'm sure, with the nature of his career. On top of it, her being a full-time behavior analyst, working directly with special needs kids and their families, that's got to be like hard heart work. On top of that, coaching, right? 3 dogs. Hello, I can't even handle the 1 dog I've got. Oh my God. And you'll hear him. But also 7 months pregnant with her first and still showing up, you guys. So tonight, Ashley James, I'm so grateful for you, sister. I'm going to give the mic over to you and you can take it away.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Hi guys. First of all, let me just say that, like, Brittany, you just did announcements and I'm like inspired. Like, your team calls, I want to come every week. I'm like, just like, yes, during announcements, like, so inspired. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. Do I have screen share privileges? Oh, wait a second. Before I get started, guys, thank you so much for having me. Can you drop in the chat where you kind of are in your business, whether you want to describe that as rank or how many months or years you've been coaching? I just kind of want to get a feel of where you guys are at before I start talking. So we have some emeralds, some diamonds, some star diamonds, or emerald with 3 coaches, coaching with this team for a year, loving it, loving it. I'm going to get up my slideshow when you guys are responding. I just like to know who I'm talking to, you know? You also will hear my dogs, so I apologize for that. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So here's the thing about me. I hate Canva. Like, I absolutely hate Canva with a passion. So when I go to present, like when I press this button up here to present, it doesn't work for me. So this is how it's not going to be in present mode, and we're going to be okay with it. And we're just going to rock and roll and pretend like it's pretty and beautiful. Okay. That's just who I am. So, I've tried a million times and it doesn't work. So we're going to rock and roll. Okay, so we are going to talk tonight about growing your business successfully with a full-time job and a full-time life. And I love, Brittany, how you kind of went through a couple of things of my story and who I am, because it's not just growing successfully while juggling a full-time job. It's growing successfully while juggling a full-time job and a full-time life. Are you guys moms? Is anybody a mom in here? Some moms, yeah. I've said this for years every time I talk about this, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, great, in like a couple months I'll be a mom. But every time I talk about this, I always say, like, moms are superheroes. Like, I talk about being busy and I talk about juggling life and a full-time job and all that, and I'm not even a mom yet, right? So like, we are such busy people. So it's not just juggling a full-time job, it's juggling a full-time life, right? And how to grow successfully in this business while doing so. A lot of people think it's impossible. A lot of people, I feel like, say, oh, well, the top coaches in the network, they all do it full time. Oh, well, XYZ. And it's like, if you work full time and you want to continue to work full time, or you have to work full time still at this point in your life, it is okay. And like Brittany said, like that is not a recipe for like, oh, let's throw in the towel or let's just sit on the back burner because I have a full-time job and I can't be successful at this. Okay. So I'm going to kind of bust that myth for you just a little bit and talk about my story and how exactly I have built my business while working full-time as a very busy human being. Okay. So first I'm going to go into my story, and then we're going to do a little gut check before we dive into the actual training. Okay. So a little bit about my story. I know Brittany just talked about it, but I am 27 years old and I'm from Maine. I know people are like, who is from Maine? Never heard of it. Yeah, from Maine. I am married to my husband, who is a police officer. I do have 3 dogs. I don't know how that happened, guys. I really don't. Sometimes you just like keep getting dogs. Does anybody else? No, just me. Like I started out with 1, then we wanted a second, then we were like, let's get a 3rd. I already want a 4th dog, but I have a baby on the way, so maybe not a great idea. Just all the dogs. Very, very hard. And I am also a behavior analyst, working with children with special needs, and that has been my job for the last 5 years. Like I've stayed in that position for the last 5 years, during my business, growing my business. So I am 30 weeks pregnant. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. I started coaching 5 years ago, right out of college. And my story is probably not super like unique. I feel like a lot of people feel like this, but I got out of college and I was so depressed. I was broke. I had like no direction really. I was 30 pounds overweight. I spent years binge eating. I spent years running. Like I would go up and down, right? That's binge eating for you. So I'd spend a ton of time under eating and running on the treadmill until I burned off everything I ate. And then 2 months later, I'd go into a cycle where I would say like, F this, it's not working. And I would binge, gain 20 pounds, lose 20 pounds, gain 20, like horrible, right? And then I started to use the drinks and the diet pills and the wraps and all those things, right? And at my skinniest in college, I was still depressed. I still hated my life and I still hated myself and my body, right? So when I graduated college, I was like, what am I actually doing with life? Like this is not healthy. And this is my last shot. I had this narrative in my head that was just who I was, right? I'm always going to be overweight. I'm never going to do anything special. I'm never going to get to where I want to be in my life. And that was for my physical health, but also just my life, right? Like I just had this trajectory of like, my life is going to suck. And that's when I found Beachbody, right? At my lowest point, of course, that's when I found Beachbody. And that's when I said, okay, this is my last shot. If this doesn't work, this is my story. I'm going to be overweight forever. I'm going to be depressed forever. Right. And so I made it work. Right. And that we all know that that's just putting in the work. But guys, we have the most amazing system ever. It's sustainable, long-term. I don't need to go into that, but like that is truly what changed my life, is the fitness programs and our story in terms of our own journey. You guys can't forget that when you are talking about your business. Okay. So that is when I started coaching. I jumped in, guys. I was so like low that this, I didn't know her. This random girl from college reached out to me and she was like, hey, do you think that you'd want to be like a coach? And I sat there for a minute and I was, remind you, I just told you where I was mentally, right? And I was like, sure. Like, what? I was the easiest coach sign up ever. Like, why did I say yes? I have no idea. Like, ask me why, no idea. But something told me to say yes, right? Then I said yes. And then I was like, oh, this is probably a good idea. Look, it's like sustainable and all this stuff. But I literally was like, sure, let's do it. And I think it's because I was so low that I realized that I couldn't get out of my own way to do it for myself, that like I needed a reason to show up for other people. Like, oh, I'm a coach. Someone's going to need help from me. I'm in the helping profession, right? So I was so low in myself. I didn't feel worth it enough to do it for me, but I felt like I could help other people do it. So backwards now that I think about it, but that's why I said yes. Super easy coach sign up. But that's that. After 3 months of coaching, the big team that I was a part of, everybody quit. I basically, after 3 months, I was an Emerald coach and I ended up with no upline and no team, period. So when I talk about this, I also want you guys to know that, I mean, clearly it doesn't apply to any of you. Like you have an incredible upline, obviously, but If you ever feel like some of the circumstances in your business or your life will hinder you from growing this business, you could actually be wrong, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, if you have no upline, you have no big team you're a part of, you're not going to be successful. Okay, 0% no. Okay, not a thing. Okay, so for the last 5 years, I've jumped into this business with no idea what I was doing. I had no business in being in this field clearly as a depressed 30 pounds overweight. I had no idea what I was doing. And I jumped in anyway, and all odds were against me. And I've been able to build this business because of the passion that I have for Beachbody in general. Okay. So after you heard everything that Brittany had said in the beginning, introducing me, all that stuff, 10-star, 2-time elite, woo, all the things, right? I want you to remember that every time you hear someone talk or every time you listen to a training, you need to never compare your journey to somebody else's, because I'm going to talk tonight and I'm going to tell you what has worked for me, but I don't want you to ever compare your journey to somebody else's, because whether it takes you 5 years or 5 minutes to hit your goals, it's your journey, your time, your goal. Okay. If you rush and you get discouraged and you're ticked off because Sally hit diamond in 2 months and you didn't, that is going to ruin you. Okay. I took a long time to get to the bigger goals in my business. Okay. Caveat, it does not need to take you this long. I had to figure it out by myself. I built my business through YouTube, and then I was able to figure it out. And I'm so grateful because now I can help my coaches do it faster, because it totally doesn't take this long. I was just overcomplicating the hell out of it. Anyway, but I am not somebody who would sit here and say, hi guys, like I hit diamond in 2 months. I hit 10-star in my first 2 years of coaching. It's not my story. So wherever you are in your journey, however many trainings you listen to, whatever accolades that are at the beginning of a training, yes, of course, but do not get discouraged and do not compare yourself to anybody else, right? Because I'm a 10-star, 2-time elite, top 60, whatever, but like some days, most days, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just learning from everybody else too. Okay. Okay, cool. Promise. Okay, promise. Okay, so before I hop in, I want to do a little gut check. It's my favorite gut check ever. I don't know if you guys have ever done it, but it's like, it's a real thing. I want you guys to do you guys who has an iPhone? You guys an iPhone, gang? Amazing. If you have an Android, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to get to this setting. Like, love you so much, but get an iPhone. Okay, go to your settings. Okay, everybody take out your phone right now. And I want you to go to your settings, and I want you to go to your screen time. This is very scary. Okay, take a breath. Go to your screen time settings and then go to screen time. And I want you to share in the chat what your daily average screen time is. And type it in the chat. Okay, I finally found the chat. Oh, look at you guys. You guys are like tied. Everybody type it in the chat. If yours is 7 hours, don't be embarrassed. Put that shit down. Also, I swear like a sailor, I'm sorry. Put it in the chat. I don't care if it's 7 hours. I don't care if it's 9. I don't care if it's 2. Put it in the chat. So I want you to think about this throughout the entire training tonight. The entire training tonight. I want you to think about this. I want you to keep going back to this, okay? Because I want you to think about what your average screen time is. And of course we have like the regular stuff, like, oh, I text my husband and I like do all this stuff, right? Duh. But look at your screen time. Oh, thank you, Ashley. I'm an Android user. Okay, hold on. I gotta like copy and paste that for like the rest. Look at your screen time and share in the chat, and then think about throughout the training, does your average screen time match the results you're getting in this business? Hi. Does your average screen time match the results you are getting in this business? Do you have an average screen time of 5 hours a day, but you're working 45 minutes a day and you're ticked off because you can't get to your next rank? Yikes. TikTok, that's me. TikTok kills my screen time. Why do I do that? Stop. Why do I do that? I don't know. Right? 5 hours, 60 minutes definitely doesn't match my success. That's what I did. I sat down like months ago when I did this gut check with my team, and I was like, okay, great. you're frustrated because XYZ in your business, but your average screen time is 5 hours and you're sure as hell not working 5 hours on your business. You're on TikTok. Okay. Love you guys. Let me move on. But just think about this throughout the training. We're going to come back to it at the end, just to think about. Okay. So let's go. I'm going to talk about exactly what I have done in the last 5 years, daily. Like I'm going to give you like the tangible, like my actual schedule. I'm going to give it to you and tell you how I grew my business working full time. Okay. So I currently work full time. I'm currently still busy, right? But there was a point in my life for about 2.5 years. It was probably like my third and fourth year of coaching. Yeah, my third and fourth year of coaching. I just hit my 5-year mark last month. That I was so busy, and everybody's busy. I don't even have kids. Exactly. I say this every time, like, you with children, I can't even, like, you guys are superheroes. I was so busy. Just know that someone's always busier than you, right? That's what I tell myself. But I was very busy, right? I was working 50 hours a week at a very high stress job. I was in the middle of planning a wedding. Of course, cop wife life, not the funnest thing ever, but love it. Dog mom, right? I had all these things. I was, on my own journey, fitness and mental health. I was running my business. And then I thought, why not go to grad school? Like, why not just like put that on my plate, right? So then I entered grad school, was in an accelerated program. I was doing 1,500 hours of supervision work on my own time. Like, it was crazy trying to get a promotion. It was nuts. I was pulling like 18 to 19-hour days, right? It was crazy. And I'm going to give you some tips of how I got through that and how I still am super busy working full time. Of course, I'm not in grad school anymore. Thank Jesus, hallelujah. But I'm going to give you some of my best tips, and then I'm going to go into how my schedule was set up. Okay. So number one, prioritizing your business. This sounds so stupid. I know. You're like, Ash, of course. But are you actually prioritizing your business? It kind of goes back to the screen time thing, First things first, your business will not grow, especially if you're working full time and juggling full time life, if you're not prioritizing your business, right? Even if you're a full time coach, you need to prioritize your business. But like, when you have a billion things going on and you're working full time and you're a mom and all these things, if you are not prioritizing your business, if you're saying, oh, I had a bad day today, oh, I'm too busy today, you're not going to grow your business. Okay. And if that's okay with you, that's okay. If you're saying, okay, I'm okay with where I am, and right now, today, I'm too busy, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, but you cannot not prioritize your business and then get frustrated about where you are. Oh, I'm so mad I'm not at Diamond yet. This business is so frustrating right now, but you've worked 2 days out of the last 2 weeks. Like, that does not match up, right? So you need to make your business a priority. My workday is not over until my coach work is done. Guys, the best thing that I ever did is parallel in my mind. I paralleled my full-time job with my coaching business, right? They are the same. My workday isn't over until my business activity tracker is 10x. For me personally, that's like my bare minimum. Okay. Show up to your full-time job just like you're showing up to coaching. Show up to coaching like you're showing up to your full-time job. Guys, listen to my words. If you go to work at your full-time job and there's something in your day that you really don't like, are you just going to be like, yeah, boss, like, I'm good with that? Like, sorry, I'm just like not doing that today. It's like going to be a no. You can't do that, right? Like, you can't just do that. You can't just say, I'm not coming in. Sorry. I just honestly don't feel like it. Or you're showing up to work and you're just kicking your feet up and you're like, yeah, that thing that I don't like to do, can someone else do it? Because I'm not feeling it today. You would never do that. You would get fired, right? Or you wouldn't get your paycheck. It's the same thing. You cannot treat this business, if you want it to be successful, you cannot treat this business as just like right? You can't. You have to parallel it to your full-time job. I'm going to show up in my full-time job because it's my job, and I'm going to show up to my business because it's my job, right? If you want this business to work, you have to make sure you have it as a priority. My workday isn't over until my business activity is done. That means if I work, yeah, right. If you work in a school or with kids, you know this, but like, if I'm supposed to be working 8:30 to 4, actually I'm working 7:30 to 5:30, and that's fine. But if you work a full day right? You work a full day. If I get out on tomorrow at 4 o'clock, right? In my head, I'm like, okay, I'm not done my workday until 5:30, period. I'm not. I don't come home and I'm like, woo, like time to party. I say, woo, time to do my business because I'm making it a priority, right? So my workday isn't over. So if I work 8 to 4, I come home, I walk through my door. This is important. I walk through my door and I sit at my desk or my kitchen table and I open up my tracker. That is what I do. If I sit on the couch, nothing will get done. If I sit my buns on my couch, it's over. It's over. I'm in Grey's Anatomy. I can't stop, right? Like I walk into my house and I have to sit down and finish my work because when I'm finished my work and my business activity tracker is done, I'm done for the night. And that also eliminates the feeling of like, oh, I'm working so much, right? It doesn't take 6 hours a day, clearly, to build a successful business, guys. And I know you probably have heard that before. After your work day, and I'm not saying this works for everybody because if you have kids and all the things, whatever, but you need to build that chunk of time that you're doing every single day. For me, I work I'm making this up, 8 to 4. I come home, I walk into my house, sit at my desk or my kitchen table, and I open up my tracker and I do everything. And then I'm done. Okay. So in your head, add an hour to your work day and then your work is done. That's prioritizing your business. Okay. One less episode. Okay. Guys, TikTok and Netflix, it's so rude. They're so rude to us because you just get sucked in and it's so hard. But honestly, when I was super, super busy and still right now, you got to think about your sacrifices, I guess. And I will never tell you to like, oh my God, never watch Netflix again in your life. Absolutely not. Because you know that I'm watching multiple episodes of all the things. I'm a Grey's Anatomy person, so forget it. But if you think about it, Grey's Anatomy is 40 minutes long per episode. I've watched it like 12 times through. It's like 40, 45 minutes, right? If you like, what would happen to your business if you just watched one less episode a night of whatever you want, whatever's your jam? What would happen if you just watched one less episode a night? So if you're coming home and you're watching 3 episodes of Netflix, that's all right. I'm not judging you. Maybe watch 2. If you're watching 5, maybe watch 4, right? Same thing with like TikTok. It's so bad. But one less episode, guys, that's 40 minutes of your time. That's 40 minutes of your time. Holy moly. Do you know how much you could get done in 40 minutes? Okay. And I'm never saying like, don't unplug and like, don't watch TV because you know I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just saying, think about that one less episode. That's what I was doing when I had this hugely busy day. I was pulling 18 hours. I didn't have time to watch 5 episodes any longer. I took 1 episode out. I was still watching Grey's Anatomy every day. That's for damn sure. But I took 1 episode out and I had 40 minutes of extra time. 40 minutes. Okay. During those work hours, right? During that one last episode, that 45 minutes where I'm working my business, I need to set timers. It's the same thing. Are you scrolling? I caught myself doing this, guys, when I was this busy, right? When I was in grad school doing this for 2 years, I had to set timers. I was not somebody who could just say, okay, yeah, 45 minutes of work. Cause I would like do a bunch, right? And then somehow I would get on like Instagram or like, now I'm like on TikTok and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I doing here right now? What's happening? And you get sucked in and then you're like, oh my God, I just worked my business for an hour and I'm not where I want to be. And it's like, you were on TikTok for 35 minutes. Actually, that's what you're doing. Set timers. Okay. So in your power hour, whatever you call it, power 30, whatever, however you work your business, set timers so you're not scrolling. Okay. And if you're somebody who needs little breaks, do it in between. So say you are power houring and the first 10 minutes you want to check in with all your clients, set a timer for 10 minutes, check in and do not start, like try to beat the timer, make it a game, right? Do as many client check-ins as you can until your timer goes off, and then set your timer for 2 minutes and go on TikTok, take a break, come back, set another 10 minutes. Okay, now I'm going to do my follow-ups. How many follow-ups can I do and whatever? Does that make sense? I'm not going to go through a whole power hour, but you need to set timers because if you do not, you're not going to be using your time intentionally and you may end up scrolling. And guys, when you're this busy and you're juggling a full-time life and juggling a full-time job, there's no room for that, right? My work hour was like very much like boom, 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 boom. Play is later. Work hard, play later, right? And that was just how it had to be for me. Okay. My probably, I keep saying this like, oh, my biggest thing. They're all pretty important, but another huge thing for me, guys, was early morning work sessions. I am not a morning person. I still like literally want to rip my hair out when I have to wake up in the morning. I've been doing it for 5 years. Like I'm still not there. I do it, but I'm like not smiley, like, woo, okay. I'm not most creative in the morning. I'm just not that person. But early morning work sessions made me into that person because I had to, right? Because if you have a million things going on and you're also working full time, guys, if you don't wake up and do it first thing, what if you have a really awful day? You're going to come home and be like, yeah, well, XYZ, right? Well, today was really blank. Well, I did this today. I'm so tired, which is valid. Your feelings are so valid, but why don't you just get ahead of that and be proactive and do early morning work sessions? Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did in the morning. On the next slide, I'll go through my entire schedule quickly with you guys, but early morning work sessions, so important. You get up, I was getting half my business activity tracker done before I even worked out. Then I work out and then I would go to work so that when I got home and I walked in and I didn't sit on the couch and I prioritized my business and I was watching One Less Episode and I sat at my kitchen table and I was setting my timers for my power hour. I only had a little bit left after work because I knew I was setting myself up for success because I knew how tired I would be, right? I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, but some days I come home and I like, does anybody else drive home from work like with silence sometimes and you're like you're like this, and all of a sudden you're home and you're like, could have crashed, like I have no idea what had just happened, right? You're like disassociating because you're so tired, right? I know you guys have been there. So set yourself up for success and do a morning work session. I'm not telling you to get all your stuff done in the morning unless you want to, but for me, I had to break it up. And I had to get the bulk of it done because when I was so tired, when I came home from work, of course I would get it done, but I was just feeling so drained and not a lot of energy going into my business. Then I started doing the early morning work sessions and I felt so much more excited about my business again because I was doing the bulk of it in the morning and not waiting until I had no energy and nothing to give to my business, right? Some days I was just irritated about it. So I was like, I got to change something up. And that's the one thing I changed. And it was the best thing ever. Okay. My next thing is vision and why, which I know I roll. I know everybody talks about it. It's a thing. It's the most important thing in our business, whatever, right? But I really need you to listen because sometimes we hear something over and over again, but I want you guys to kind of like open up your mind right now and be okay with hearing this again and open it up again. Because I know when I'm saying this, you're like closed off. You're like, yeah, I know. Yeah, Brittany tells me all the time, yeah, this training, you got to know your why, right? And you're kind of closed off because you think you know it. I want you guys to be available right now to hear me again. If you do not have a strong why, you will not get out of bed in the morning, period. You're not going to do it. If you do not have a vision for where this business specifically can take you, you will not watch One Less Episode. You won't. You need to make sure that your vision and why are at the forefront. When I started this business, I said, when I have kids, I will no longer be working full time, period. That was, I have a whole nother why, but like that, like the tangible thing of like, I want to quit my job because I want to be a stay-at-home mom, whatever. That was in my vision. That was at the forefront. That was on my vision board. So every single day, right, when I was disassociating at the wheel, driving home because I was so tired, right, and I didn't want to do anything, I said, okay, Ash, I want this so bad because XYZ. And for me, it was like, oh, okay, are you just going to not do your work even though like you have a dream of staying home with your kids? Like, come on, right? I could never do that. So I always was showing up. It was consistency because of that vision and why. You guys got to get really clear on that. And I know you've heard it before, but again, hear me again. Be available right now to really, really, really let that sink in. Because if you do not have a vision and you don't have a why, you know you're not going to watch One Less Episode. You're going to be on TikTok. You're not going to wake up early to prioritize your business, and you're not going to finish your business activity tracker every day. Especially if you're pulling long days and have a whole life to juggle. You're just not, okay? Another really big tip for people working full-time, and especially moms, if you're working full-time, juggling life, juggling this business, you need to ask for help in other areas if at all possible. I know this is like not something that everybody has, but has the opportunity to do, but I started asking for help in other areas, and it was one of the best things I've ever done for my business. And I'm not saying to like outsource things, like I'm saying like, dear husband, like the dishes, that's on you, boy. Like, yeah, that's on you. The laundry, like please do the laundry today. I asked for help in other areas, very little areas here and there, right? When I was feeling really overwhelmed, I would ask my team of leaders, hey, does anybody want to host team call tonight? Hey, does anybody want to guest speak tonight? Right? That took a little bit off my plate for that week, and it was okay. Husband, vacuum, please. Like, do the things, right? I started saying that, hey, I'm trying to do this. This is why I want to do this. This is what I want today. I have this, and this, and I have 4 calls tonight. So like, dinner's on you, boy. That's what I said to him. And he said, all right, woo. And I know not everybody has that luxury of having help, but if you do, do not feel guilty about it. You're working full time and building a business full time, right? Don't get into that like, oh, I'm working a business. No, you're showing up just like your full-time job, right? Remember that. Use your days off. Use your days off. So using your days off and pouring into self-care go hand in hand, because for me, I consult with a public school district. So I have Saturdays and Sundays off. So my Sundays were self-care day. I would do the bare minimum in my business. And then I was like, Grey's Anatomy and snacks. Like, don't talk to me. I may go shopping. That's it, right? Like, you need to recharge. But my Saturdays, I use those days off. So I worked like 4 hours in the morning on Saturdays, and I got so much done, right? And that may not be doable for you, but maybe you work maybe you work 2 hours on Saturday and you do 30 minutes here, 30 minutes, like do pockets, right? For me, I sat down and I was like, let's do 4 hours so I can have the rest of my day. So making sure you're diving into self-care, but also using those days off as well to get ahead for the next week. I'm always a prepper, right? On those Saturday work session, or those pocket work sessions, if that's what you want to do, I said, okay, I'm going to plan everything for next week. I'm going to get my team call ready. I'm going to make sure my content is done, right? I was ahead of the game so that on Tuesday, when I had a crappy day and things fell apart and I had 16 appointments and 57 things to do, right? I didn't say, oh, well, I didn't have time to create a post today. No, they're all done. They're planned. They're prepped, right? I was proactive, right? That's how I did it. And that's how I still do it. I have to be, because if I'm not proactive, guys, reactive business building is not fun, right? It's just going to tire you out. So make sure you are planning and you're proactive in what you're doing in your business. Okay. The last big tip that I have for you guys is pouring into this business as an outlet. A lot of times I hear coaches say, oh, well, I worked all day, right? I worked all day and then I have to do my coach work. For me, I kind of flip the narrative a little bit. I get to do my coach work, and it's kind of the same thing. I know you guys have probably heard it about fitness and working out. It's not I have to work out today. I get to work out. There's so many people that can't. I can't right now. It sucks, right? So I get to work out, right? I get to work my business. For me personally, pouring into the business is an outlet for me, right? So when I come home, I'm no longer writing behavior plans and analyzing data and graphing behavior. Like I am here, I am home, I am a dog mom, I am a wife, and I am a business owner, and we love Beachbody and we love our business, right? So act like it. Don't act like, oh, I have to do my invites, like come home and say, right now, I'm going to take 45 minutes and I'm going to do something I love. For me, creating content is my favorite thing in this business. I love being on social media. So I come home and I, of course, do all the other things, but I say, okay, my thing right now is social media. So I'm going to pour into that because it makes me feel good. And when I am doing my business, I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to be a behavior analyst. I don't have to write behavior plans, right? I don't have to manage crisis. I want to be on social media and create content for the people that are following me and the people that are my people on Instagram. So kind of using that business as an outlet instead of like, oh, it's on the side, I have to do it. Like, no, you just worked all day. You're working your tail off. You had a stressful day. I kind of treat it as like another episode of Grey's Anatomy, right? 40 minutes of my time, and I get to be the coach, Ashley. My favorite thing to do. Okay, so try to kind of flip that narrative in your head. Okay, so my day, I do the same vital behaviors every day at the same time. I don't say my morning work session is 30 minutes and I'm going to work, and then after work it's 30 minutes. I work more than an hour, but I'm just I'm just making this up, right? I say in my 30-minute work session in the morning, these are the vital behaviors that I'm getting done. Because if I just willy-nilly it, I'm going to be so unorganized. And I'm also like nuts. Like I love organization and like order, and I'm very like boom, boom, boom. So I have to do the same things at the same time every day for my business. So I do wake up in the morning. I hate waking up in the morning. My alarm goes off. I'm not drinking Energize right now, but I would reach over. My Energize would be on my bedstand, guys. I'm not even kidding. On my bedside with a shaker bottle with my workout clothes. I'd open one eye, reach over. Like I struggle so hard, guys, in the morning. I'm literally laying in bed and I'm drinking my Energize. After my third sip, I can open my eyes and I'm like, all right, I'm up. I'm up and I'm ready to rock and roll. And so that morning session, I would drink my Energize. And while that was kicking in before my workout, I would do my personal development. I would do my recognition, and I would do my client check-in. So I would check into all of my groups. And I would respond to all of my client messages. So if they're messaging me like, hey, I need Shakeology recipes. Hey, I need that. That's where I would do all of that. Okay. Then I would work out. Then I would go on social media for about 15 minutes after when I'm like eating breakfast, whatever. And I will post my like morning workout story. I'd post like my Energize, then my workout story. Then maybe I'm talking on my stories about my workout or whatever that looks like in that, whatever I want to share that morning. Okay. So all before work, I've worked out, I've done my recognition, I've done my personal development, I've checked in with my clients, and I've done a little bit of social media. Hello. Took me 15 minutes plus a workout. Not too shabby. Then I go to work all day, walk through the door, do not sit on the couch. Bad news if I sit on the couch. Bad things happen. Too many episodes. So then when I walk through the door, I do some social media. So I will get on my stories again. I will make sure my content is valuable for that night. Again, I do a lot of prepping on the weekend. So I will make sure that I have pictures ready and posts ready. So content all planned out. And I just, in that moment, when I walk through the door, I make sure that's a relevant post for me that night, right? Because I also want to be authentic. And if it's not something I'm like really feeling, I'll change it up. But I'll make sure that my social media is done. That's super important. Then I will move into team check-ins. I will check in with my diamond leaders. I will check in with my emeralds, my rising rock stars, I call them, who are like really showing up and pushing to diamond. I will do my invites and my follow-ups and my connections and my ads. And then of course, like I'll do team calls and mentorships at the end, right? So I do a chunk in the morning and a chunk after work, and that's what works for me. My chunk in the morning is very quick, guys, but you can get, if you're intentional, you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. And then my after work is all of kind of like my conversation starters, if that makes sense. So like my connections and my follow-ups. But again, if you set timers and you're really intentional with your time, that also doesn't take a long time, okay? And when I'm checking in with my team, I also make sure to obviously check in with my team page in general. So just posting some trainings that I like, or making sure they know about announcements from the company or team calls or whatever, posting in there asking like, does anybody need help? Do you want to start a group? Do you want to blah, blah, blah? So just making sure that I'm really in there in terms of growing my team. Okay. So with all of that, I really want you guys to think about if you want this business to work. This business is not hard. It is very simple. Okay. It takes effort. That's what it is. And most people aren't willing to put in the effort, but I promise you right now, if you are intentional with your time, and you believe and you're going through all of those tips that I gave you, you will be successful. But you just need to believe in yourself and you just need to show up. And guess what happens when you show up like that every single day? Your business grows. which means Success Club is growing, which means your team is growing. And then when you have a team of coaches under you, so say you have 3 coaches under you right now on your team, you're going to give them that system. Hey team, this is exactly what I do to grow my business. Here you go. And that's how you create a team. You're just giving them a duplicatable system. You're giving them your biggest tips, and you're giving them exactly what you do every single day. And you say, this is how I run my business. How can we mesh your lifestyle with my tips and make something work for you? That's how I grew. That's how I grew from a coach to a 10-star. Like, I really just focused in on all of the tips that I gave you tonight. And I made sure that I was showing up consistently. So I wanted it. I knew that I wanted it. And I knew what my vision was. And I knew what my why was. And I kept telling myself, it is not hard. Guys, we get to grow a business and get paid and grow this amazing community. And we don't even have to like get up. I get to sit on my couch. I don't even have to wear pants, guys. Like, I can be in my pajamas. I can watch Grey's. Grey's can be on the screen, and I can run a business. Like, it is not hard. It's not hard. It's simple. It just takes effort. Okay. And that's the same thing I was telling my team. So when I got a new coach on my team, I said, I have one question. Do you want this? It's not hard. It's simple. It takes effort. So you're making a decision, you're committing to the business, and you will succeed no matter how long it takes you. Right. And I gave them my system. Here's what I did. Let's mesh your lifestyle with my tips together and make this work for you. And I was consistently showing up and leading by example, right? So when I was saying, hey coaches, I want you to hit Success Club 6, I was hitting Success Club 20, because if I'm not hitting Success Club 6, they're not hitting Success Club 6, right? So I'm always making sure to give them my system, and I'm leading by example, and I'm pouring life into them. And that's really how I grew my team as well, as I just kept going back to those tips. Because if you're not working your business at a level of just the business activity tracker, there's no way you're going to grow a team. Your coaches rely on what you're doing, right? So I'm trying always to breathe life and fire into my team. And when I have coaches who are really showing up and they're really actually showing up, I ask them, hey, do you want this? Do you want this with me? This is what I want for my team. This is what I see in your journey. This is the potential I see. Will you run with me? Yes? Okay, this is what running with me looks like. XYZ. And we get in a group chat and we hype each other up and we send messages like crazy and we share trainings and we get on calls. And that is how we built from 1 to 10-star. Okay? It's really just looking back at the tips that I have already talked about. Okay? I want you to think about what we did at the beginning of the training. I want you to think about your screen time. Okay. Does that match where you are in your business? If you have an average screen time of 4 hours, I'm not judging. Mine's 5 hours right now. No, no. Does it match up? No, for me right now, it doesn't. So I love doing this training because I always get a gut check as well. You have to remember this. You need to match what you're doing with your goals, right? Like, your goal is 5-star coach. Okay, does your screen time match that? Like, are you on TikTok or are you actually working your business? Okay, so all of that to say that gut check, everything. I love you so much. Your feelings are so valid about being busy and growing successfully and being frustrated in the business because you're working full time and you're juggling all these things, but your circumstances don't matter. What matters is the effort that you put into your business. You need to rewrite your story. That's the one thing I did to really, really revamp my business and my mindset, to be able to help my coaches, to be able to build to elite, to 10-star, and all the things that you are hearing, right? Your excuses belong in the trash. There's someone busier than you. If they can do it, you can do it, okay? I promise you, your feelings are valid, but the circumstances and the story you're telling yourself do not matter. I could have thrown in the towel the second that coach that signed me up quit. Because I already had it in my head, oh, I want to be a diamond, I want to be a 5-star, I want to make this amount of money, I want to stay at home with my kids, right? And everybody quit around me. Everybody quit around me. And it would have been really easy for me to say, I don't have an upline, I need to quit. I don't know what I'm doing. Guys, do you know how many times I've failed? Do you know how many times I've dropped qualifications? Do you know how many times I fell short to my goals? Right? My team is, for the past 2 years, have hit elite by May of the last 2 years, and it's actual June 14th, I'm pretty sure. And who's not at elite? Me, right? I've fallen short so many times, right? That's a story and a circumstance that I could look at right now and be like, well, I'm so busy, and like, is this really working for me? And can I really be successful? Blah, 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 right? No, your circumstances do not matter. And I know that sounds harsh, but I'm telling you this because I love you. Okay? You can do this. And I promise you, you can. Even if you have a million other things to do, you can. I am nothing special. There's no unicorn juice. Anybody in the business will tell you this. Everybody's doing the same things. They're just doing it a different way. You guys know what to do. You know exactly what to do. You have a business activity tracker, right? You have a business activity tracker. You have everything that you need to do. The only thing that you need to worry about is being consistent and prioritizing your business, right? And watching one last episode and walking in to your house and not sitting on the couch, and prioritizing and using your days off and asking other people for help so that you can do this business, so that you can work this business, so that you can get to your vision and your why. Okay? Okay. I hope that was a little bit helpful for somebody or resonated with somebody. I know it can be really hard sometimes to listen to all of this training and kind of go and put it into action. But I know there was a little bit of tangible stuff, but a lot of stuff saying like, you can do it. I promise you, you can if you go take action right now, which from my call that I just did was go do your business activity tracker and know that just because you're busy doesn't mean you can't be successful in this business. Okay. Okay. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer some questions if there's some.
Oh, it was so good, Ashley. I just love the layout of it. So I work Beachbody full time. And so this perspective for our team is just so helpful and such gold right now, because I don't work my business the same way that I did when I was a full-time teacher. And so the scheduling has to work, right? I love that. I love that you said reactive business building is not fun. That one really stuck out to me. And it's so true. Like, knowing what you're inviting to, knowing what you're sharing about, you have to have a clear idea of where the vision of your bod groups and your team are going so that you know how to align that with what you're posting. So I love that. Leah asked a question. How did your schedule change when you were in school full time, like grad school, right? Leah, is what you're requesting. I always feel like I should be doing more with school when I'm working my biz and vice versa.
This was really hard for me. Unfortunately, with my timing, as I was being accepted, like I got accepted into grad school, I was still like, I was still, in my eyes, right? We all have different definitions. I was still successful in my business, but when I applied to grad school and got accepted and was like waiting to start is when I saw like my huge like boom of success. And I was like, well, that's great. Because really I would have probably not gone to grad school if I'm being completely honest with you. And that's why I have kept my full-time job and things like that, because I had to go through grad school. I wasn't just going to drop out. But it was an interesting timing for me. So I, mindset wise, had a really hard time with this of like, oh, I need to do more for school. And like, I'm doing my business right now, but I'm thinking about my test. And then I'm thinking about my test, but then I'm thinking about Success Club. And it was a really hard balance for me. So that's why time blocking was really important for me. I didn't say it when I was talking about it, but I did have a spot for like homework. It's just not relevant for me now. So I skipped it. But so after I worked my business, because again, my priority is how do I grow this business so I can stay at home with my kids, right? That was me. So after my after work section of my coach work, right? So I do my invites and my follow-ups, blah, blah, blah. I would then do my homework. So that's why I was pulling such long days, because I did both equally. I did. And it takes a lot, but remembering that if both are important to you, you're going to end up doing both, right? Because if they're both prioritized, you're going to do it anyway. And then after I would do that homework block. So that's how I would fit it in. Mindset wise, I had multiple hats. So I said, okay, coach hat is on, take it off. Now I'm a behavior analyst for work, take it off. I'm a coach again. And so when I'm coaching, when I caught myself thinking about a discussion board, I was like, no. Put the discussion board aside. Right now I'm a coach, and that's going to be later. So when I finished that, take off my coach hat, put my student hat back on, and I said, okay, now I'm doing my coach work. I stopped feeling guilty about it, or I don't know if guilty is the right word, but I stopped feeling stressed about it because I knew I was going to get to it anyway. I did. Like if I'm sitting there and I did my work, I'm doing my coach work and I'm like, oh, I have a quiz tomorrow. I said, stop thinking about that. Right now you're a coach, but honestly, why be stressed about it? Because you're going to study in 20 minutes when you're done your coach work anyway. Does that make sense? So I kind of really learned to not stress about it because both were my priorities. So I knew both were going to get done, but I totally hear you. It is like a weird balance when you have so much to do for school, but you're like, but I really want to hit Success Club and I really want to build my team. So it is a hard balance.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just like burning the candle at both ends. Luckily, my son has done homeschool, but I work full time. I'm going to school, and then I'm trying to make this work, all because I want to be home with have more control over my schedule.
Yeah.
I work customer service. I'm tied to a phone all day.
Yeah.
I hate it.
No, I totally hear you. It's so hard. And it sounds like you have a full plate, like 100%. So totally valid in feeling like kind of overwhelmed. And there were so many times in my business where I also felt like I was burning myself out with coaching and burning myself out with school. And that's when I had to reevaluate, take a step back and say, I need to take one day for myself and do some self-care where I'm not doing tests and I'm not doing coach work. So those were my Sundays, and I really started to recharge. And I started to just come to the table at each time. Right now I'm a coach, right now I'm a student, and kind of separate those things and do the best I could every day. I showed up as my best self. It wasn't perfect. I was showing up messy half the time, but don't let yourself get burned out with coaching. Remember, if you're feeling burnt out with coaching, I want you to remember the mindset or the narrative switch of like, right now I get to work my business because I love it so much. And what we do is so, so important. And right now I don't have to think about school. That's kind of what I did personally, but it is tough, but I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it. It does take a lot of effort.
I don't see any other questions coming, but so I'll ask one last one for you to wrap it up with us.
Yeah,
I love that you got to share with us that, you were on a team that was a team.
Yeah, big team.
And it just kind of fizzled away around you. And it could be really easy to just kind of go back into the retreat back into the night with everybody else. Like I think of that Homer Simpson, like Into the Bush GIF or whatever. And it can be easy to do that because everybody else was. So like, well, forget it, whatever, right? What do you think was that trigger in that? That was probably a really challenging time, I imagine. And what was that trigger to stay? Like, why in that moment did it matter to you to use YouTube, to Google it, and to just find messy ways to figure it out?
Yeah, I think that I had like 3 or 4 months into the business. So can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry, my connection's unstable and then I thought I was on mute. I'm all messed up here. 3 or 4 months into the business, so I had already fallen in love with Beachbody. And we all know when you fall in love with Beachbody, like it is your jam. It is your jam. And another big thing, honestly, was I saw the potential really quickly. I was a part of a very large team. So like the girl who signed me up, her upline, and then her upline, it was a pretty big team, elite team, whatever. And so when everybody quit, and I mean, like, I would say 75% of the team all left for something else altogether. And I wasn't passionate about it. And I knew that I had gone through a lot of stuff in my health and fitness journey. And I knew that Beachbody was the thing to get me out because it's long-term sustainable, right? It's not a fad diet. I didn't want to rely on any products or whatever to lose weight and to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Like I really believed in Beachbody's mission. And I think that's what really, really, really helped me stay. I didn't even think twice about it, honestly. I was just like, goodbye, I will go on YouTube and National Wake Up Call. Like that's how I'm going to grow my business, just because what everybody was quitting what everybody was going to after quitting was not my jam anyway. So it was kind of easy to just like kind of turn around and stay. But the working really hard to grow your own business and to learn everything by yourself was really, really tricky. But again, I knew, like, I followed all the top coaches. So when I was seeing their stuff on social media, I'm like, I'm going to keep going because I know I can do this. And that is what I want. Right. So I also saw the potential, and that's what motivated me to like get on YouTube and search like random, like Lindsay Matways. I was searching like all the things and listening to all the national wake up calls. So I think that was my motivation to really learn the business by myself. But I think Beachbody's mission and in my own personal health and fitness journey kept me in the game, just because I was not willing to drop something for something else that I didn't believe in.
So good. It comes down, you guys, to people falling in love with their journey, right? And if you can get somebody to if you can fall in love with your journey and you can help other people fall in love with their journey, everything else is figure outable. So I love it. Ashley, if we could all just have like a little like silent cheer through the screen for Ashley, y'all. This is so good. And I think like exactly relevant to some of the things you guys have been asking about. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me. And if you guys have any questions, let Brittany know and reach out to me and I'd be happy to answer them.
Yes. Let me take a quick boomerang. Otherwise it never happened. And then I'll let you go. I'll let you go to get Grays on again.
Trust me, it's happening.
Yeah, right. All right. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. You guys just shimmy or shake or point or something. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Y'all are so cute. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I'll get the recording up soon and I will see you guys tomorrow.